Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad that you've joined us today. We're almost done with the book of John, but this has been such a great time for me personally to be able to join with you and just talk to you about what God has been speaking to me about. And I would love to hear what He's been speaking to you about. So if you want to drop something in the comments, or you want to private message me if you don't feel comfortable talking about it on here, I would love to hear all about what God has been showing you and how He's been speaking to you and how He's moving in your life right now. So today we are reading through John chapter 19. I love this chapter. It just gives us a detailed synopsis of Christ's journey to the cross. So in the beginning, they are standing in front of Pilate. Pilate is sentencing him. And then he goes through the crucifixion, the death, and his burial. But what the best part is that in the next chapter, we get to read all about how he rose from the dead. And I love that because it just gives a great synopsis and a follow through into what is going to happen next. But what I did not really notice, something that really caught my eye this time as I was reading through John 19, was when Jesus is hanging on the cross. The soldiers have already cast lots for his clothing. They're playing games with his clothes, his things. He's really been stripped of a lot of humanity. And he's hanging there, just hanging. And he sees his mother. So starting in verse 26. When Jesus saw his mother there, and the disciple whom he loved, which was John, standing nearby, he said to his mother, "Dear woman, here is your son." And to the disciple, "Here is your mother." From that time on, the disciple took her into his home. I thought that was really curious because I knew that Jesus wasn't the only son, but he was the oldest. And in that culture, in that time, the oldest really had a heavy responsibility to care for his mother, especially in this later stage of life where she's a widow. She doesn't have that support anymore. And so it was really Jesus's responsibility. So I started to kind of look into, what does that mean? Why would he give Mary to John instead of to his brothers? But his brothers didn't become believers until after the resurrection. And so he was really entrusting John with his mother because he knew that John would care for her and he would take her into his home, and that he would love her like his own mother. And I just think that's amazing because in James 1:27, where James is talking about true religion is this, that we care for the orphans and the widows in their distress, and that is so honoring to the Father. And so I just thought that was awesome, that even while hanging on the cross in that moment of humiliation and pain and grieving, I'm sure, that Jesus was even then caring for his mother, a widow, and he was taking that to heart and really living that life. So I want to encourage you today, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, that you just press into what God has for you today, that you read these scriptures, that you just soak it up. Just enjoy being with him, enjoy his presence. And I want to hear about what he talks to you about. God, we're so thankful for today and that you gave us another Monday and that we have another day to live and breathe and to worship you and to honor you with all of our decisions, all of our choices. God, I pray that you would just help us to remember to keep our eyes open to the orphan and the widow. God, those with needs around us that need to be met, Lord, that even in our own pain, we wouldn't forget that. Just like Jesus on the cross didn't forget to take care of his mother, even in that moment. And it's such a beautiful sacrifice and such a beautiful illustration of how we should live our lives. So God, today I just ask that you would bless everyone here, Lord, everyone that has joined with me this morning. Lord, that you would just allow them to feel your presence in a new way today. We love you. We thank you for this time. Amen. Have a great day, guys. See you later.